Hello, beautiful people. It's Dr. Azadeh Katibi. I'm super excited to be here today. Tonight, we're going to be talking about health, reclaiming healthcare, reclaiming your health, how we can do it individually and as a community. I'm super excited. And joining me is going to be Nurse Diana of the Reimagining Healthcare podcast. We're going to be talking about how to reclaim your healthcare, and show you ways and give you opportunities to find like-minded people to create that community with and grow that community, as well as grow within yourself and outside of that. So I'm super excited. Hopefully she'll be joining us soon. In the meantime, I wanted to talk to you guys about my own health journey. Nurse Diana's here, so and there she is.
Hi, I should probably get some light in here.
Hi, Nurse Diana. It's great to almost see you. I was just telling everybody about how I'm so excited to be working with you on the IG Live, and also we've been working together recently, and how we're going to be talking about how people can reclaim their healthcare this evening. So do you want to tell people how we met? Because I mean, you and I are both go-getters, and we're both in the medical field, and really care about ourselves, our own health, and the health of our community. And got a chance to work together a couple of occasions. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh man, I'm just yes. I thank you for doing this IG live. I'm very excited to be here, and and to know you and to collaborate with you and to just keep doing what we're doing and learning. Yeah, we were connected through Indy, and you came onto the podcast, and about a year ago, I want to say. Maybe a little, I can't remember exactly. And so I have a podcast, Reimagining Healthcare, and Dr. Azadeh came and made an appearance, and I just felt really connected to you kind of instantaneously. And I think that our journeys have been, we very different, but also there's been a lot of similarities in our journey navigating healthcare, COVID, all the crazy shit that happened in California. And exactly, right. Is that mint? Wait, first,
Yeah, I did
this is
hot
great.
water and fresh mint. I'm super
Yeah,
excited. You guys, you can do this at home too with a lot of different herbs. You can do it with dill, with mint. You could do it with basil. I like mint because I'm kind of old school, but you could even do combos of different
yeah,
ones. You could even do dried herbs if you have dried herbs at home.
yeah.
But that's what I'm doing tonight.
I
And
love
you could do cinnamon. You can add a little bit of cinnamon powder to it. But I didn't do that tonight, but you could do that
yum.
too.
Oh, cinnamon. I didn't even think
It's
of
really,
that. I love
really
that.
good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
peppermint is so nice before, like in the evening. It's very
So
calming
nice.
and so supportive to the nervous system.
You have
Um, but
an herbal background too, right?
yes, I studied Western herbalism with my teacher, Marisha Mirnowska, and she is based in LA, or like, Topanga area, or was. So she's down there. And yeah, so been a journey, right? Like that's my herbal journey all kind of came out of the crazy COVID stuff. And then we've just stayed in touch, and we've been doing, really exploring together, how do we share our gifts with each other, like how do we collaborate and share gifts with the world, build new systems of healthcare. And so we did this fellowship that was started in the fall, the Reclaiming Healthcare Fellowship, and it was incredible. I mean, we had, I think, it was a small, intimate group, like 13 people or so, and all in the healing space, or yoga teachers, healthcare providers, nurses,
We had some
doctors.
advocates too, people who actually follow patients
Yeah,
and advocate for them
and
when
like
their
in the
other family
hospital.
members can't.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's really cool to see actually such a mix of different people. And I think that the really cool thing for the fellowship we did this past season, and the one that's going to come up that we're going to talk to you guys about,
Yeah,
that's coming up very soon, that you guys can sign up for, is that it helps us not only for our own individual. First of all, it helps us on our individual journeys, right? So I learned so much. I was a guide, a teacher on it in the fellowship, but I also went in as a student and I learned so much about myself and how to help myself, and just went deeper into traditional perspectives on healthcare and health that really helped me and took me to another level. And then there's also like, how do we then help and change and affect change on the broader community basis or even nationally,
Yep.
and really got ideas, resources, contacts for things like that. And then we also had people do their own project, and it's really cool. Like if I was doing the project on my own, I'd be like, oh my god, okay, I have to do it. But when you're in group and you're seeing other people do something and create something, and then that kind of pushes you to create your own project. So we did so much during that 8-9 weeks that we were together. I loved it.
It was really fun and very inspiring as well. I think it's like it's really important to have community around all the hard work we're doing. I mean, we've taken on this. I was at this conference this weekend with Dr. Bahaswati is actually the way to pronounce her name, Bahaswati.
Ah.
And it's funny. I was just with her. I was like, oh my gosh, I've known you for this many years. I've been saying your name totally like it's not the way it's meant to be pronounced, and it sounds so beautiful, like the way that it's supposed to be. Anyway,
I
but
get it because my name is Azadeh, and no one can say Azadeh correctly. I
Azade,
don't even say my name correctly. Like it's so sad. But anyway, I digress.
Azade,
Yeah, Dr.
Azade.
Paswati's class, the one she taught on the
Yeah,
sacral chakra, has changed my life. Like it was one of those things where you're going this way, and then, oh, I learned this. I spent these 2 hours with her, and I'm shifting this
yeah,
way. I started, and I want to hear about what you did. But in terms of Ayurveda and deepening into Ayurveda, I think we were both in a place. I think you're a little bit ahead of me, but like in terms of really diving into it more and learning more about it, this thousands of year old tradition that started in India area and has really been investigating like what does it really mean to be truly in health. And Dr. Bahaswati Bhattacharya, by the way, who is an MD, PhD professor at
she's
a university where she's at Cornell, I think.
she's a wild Cornell, and then
Yeah.
she's also an MPH and has like she's just if you need your credentials, she checks all the boxes. She goes above and beyond, and she's incredibly brilliant.
Yeah.
And yeah, that class was really powerful. I mean, every time I see like sit with her workshops and lectures, I mean, I'm always so
She's so knowledgeable.
blown
She's so
away.
knowledgeable. And
Yes,
so she's going to be
yeah,
teaching the next in the next fellowship round as well. I'm super
exactly.
excited to learn more from
Yeah.
her. I'm going to tell you, just from her class on the sacral chakra, I have started listening to the Vishnu mantra in the mornings. I try to remember, like when there's a change in the time of the day, morning or evening, to light a candle or burn some incense. My husband
Oh.
doesn't like incense, so it usually ends up being a candle to kind of mark that transition, which she said the Brahmin people do. The Brahmin sect of Indian society were the ones often in those families where they would be very spiritual and they would light the candle at the or burn the incense at the beginning of dawn or at the beginning of dusk to mark the change. It's kind of crazy, right? Like we're here, we're doing an IG live. It's 9 p.m. Pacific time. Like we should be going to bed.
I know. I was gonna say, we would be in big trouble
We're in
if
big
she was
trouble, but it's
doing
a journey. We're getting better.
it.
I mean, as I
Figuring
said,
it out.
I've been doing the mantras now. I'm really thinking about my purpose, my passion, my dharma after her class, and like really channeling to. And I've done so much more since her lecture in terms of like just being more confident in channeling my purpose and being less afraid. And she said this really great thing. She's like, the idea is not to be worried about money, right? The money will come if you're following your dharma. You will be taken care of somehow.
Yeah.
Like that was so powerful to hear. So I mean, just that one class was worth it all.
Yeah.
But we also had such amazing other teachers. Charlie Trin was there. And he talked about the dantian point and belly breathing. That's
Yeah.
been something I've been doing too.
Yeah.
Just every teacher, Indy was just, he started it off. I taught on voice and the throat chakra. You taught on the heart.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had such a great crew, and it's nice that we're gonna have, you know, some we might actually have some guest speakers too pop in. So those will be surprises, but definitely you'll have all of us, the core the core crew holding it down and continuing to learn alongside you, and also guide each other, because even each one of the fellows, they all had so much to contribute with their medicine, the work that they do. I was just so impressed by all of them, and actually felt very honored to be creating that container for us all to be together and share. So it's really exciting, and I'm excited for the structure of this one that we're doing. We're switching it up a little bit, and having more focused like integrative discussion type on the weekend, and then just kind of a lecture that could even be pre-recorded that during the week, and it's gonna be structured around the zodiacs. So it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited for Aries season. You know that, girl. You are too, I'm
Me
sure.
too. I mean, one thing that Dr. Charlie Trin, one of our guides on the fellowship, said, or was it Indy? Somebody posted that like Hippocrates had said that
A
that a
fool.
doctor who doesn't know astrology is a fool. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. But that's also been, in addition to Ayurveda, that's another area I've been going more and more into. And I used to be like, astrology, is that real? Is that a real thing? Is astrology real? And but and it's like, it's called a pseudoscience, but the more I learn it, the more it helps me get my life in order and understand other people. Oh, I totally understand my childhood now because both my
Right.
parents were Sagittarius, and that's why they were so like, both of them so stubborn. And we had these deep intellectual conversations around the dinner table where people were like super passionate, and I thought everybody grew up like having those kinds of dinner table conversations. So astrology is, I'm super excited to talk about and learn more about in this next iteration of the fellowship. And also, we're going to be doing our birth charts, right?
Yeah, we're going to be doing our birth charts together, learning about those. That's also really empowering. And I hear you. I also similarly was like, I mean, I was always interested, of course, in my own zodiac stuff, and was like, oh yeah, I identify so much as this and this, and then started to realize, the power of it, and also when I always think about the way that we've come to know it as like this so-called pseudoscience. Like, who said that, right? It was probably like you know, these British people who stole all of it anyway, or some sort of colonizing group, that's just like, oh no, that's pseudo, that's witchy stuff, that's like what they all do. But there's something to it, and it's interesting because in Ayurveda, that's like that's a huge part of the medicine, is like understanding that about yourself. And when you work, and so there's even like these specialists that Vedic astrologers, and how they work with people in their Ayurveda journey as well. It's like, so really interesting stuff. So we're gonna dive into that as well. And shout out, we actually have the same birthday, so that's fun fact for all.
We're both Aries, but we manifest it differently. Charlie
Totally.
Trin, actually, Dr. Trin looked, one of our guides, he looked at our birth charts and he's like, oh, Azada, you have a lot of Pisces in your chart. But our sun signs are both Aries. So we're like go-getters, fiery, passionate girls.
Right.
So it's so awesome to have that to work with. Someone who gets me. Diana, you're someone who understands me. I love that.
I get you, girl. Yes, you don't have to even explain. It's all understood. But that's what this is about too, right? Is like, it's building community. That's what we're here doing. And that, I feel, at the end of the fellowship, I think all of us were, it was kind of bittersweet. We were
It was
all kind
sad.
of sad that it was ending, but like they say, all things come to an end, and these are just cycles. But we're starting up the cycle again, and it's an opportunity to jump on board with us and be part of this change.
Oh, and you guys, it's so affordable. It's $108, which is like,
That's
I mean, the value for that. What course is $108 anymore that offers that
right.
level of intimacy and interaction and level of sharing,
Mhm.
and ability to be a part of a community that cares about you and your voice and wants to encourage you to try new things, but also share the knowledge that you already have in your mind, body, and honors you for sharing that. It's an amazing deal. And to sign up, people go to
Dot org.
cultivating self.
Yeah.
Why don't you say the website?
Yeah, so it's cultivatingself.org, and you can sign up there. Leave the $108 or contribute, pay it forward to somebody else who maybe can't afford that. And if you know of anyone who would be interested in something like this, gift it to them. You know, it's always a good time to show someone you love some, give them a sweet gift like this. I mean, I would be happy to receive a gift like this.
Oh yeah, we had somebody gift somebody else the fellowship last season or last iteration, and this round also we have someone gifting the class to someone they think will benefit. So that's something that you can do. And is it tax? Is it tax?
Yeah, it's a
Is it?
donation. So yeah, you can add it as write it off as a donation. Yeah.
Oh, so it's 100. The tuition's $108, but you could also you could write it off as a
Yeah.
donation. That's I mean, so it's like win, 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 win.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a win.
You're learning, you're gaining community, you're getting being pushed to try something
Yeah.
and create your own projects, and you're getting a tax. What is the word I'm looking for?
Tax break.
You're getting
A tax.
a tax break. We'll call it that. And it's
Yeah.
such a good deal. It's such a good deal. So go to cultivatingself.org and slash fellowship. I think
Yes.
is what it
Yeah.
was, right? Yeah.
Slash reclaiming healthcare fellowship.
So we're going to go. I think I'm super excited to look at my star chart further. I've done some work on that. And, I was always like, oh, I'm Aries, Aries, Aries. But then someone told me, oh, you have so much Pisces. And I've had two people tell me so much Pisces in your chart. And then we delved into that and understood, oh, the fact that I have so much Pisces in my chart is why I'm like such a dreamer
Mm.
and have a tendency to be like, what's the point? Oh, it's okay. And like how to align
Yeah.
myself and to how to find ways to align myself more with purpose. And just that advice that I was given actually by one of the guides, Charlie Trin, was like really helpful in like helping me align and being like, oh, my connection to the divine is actually really important
Yeah.
given my star chart,
That's
my
right.
connection to God and like talking to God and having that, God on my shoulder relationship is actually what's going to feed me so that I can go forward with purpose and and instead of just being like, oh, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? Because Pisces energy can also just be like, it's the end of my life. Might as well just stop. So it's fascinating stuff. No, that's
So
literally what it is. So Aries, Diana, Aries is like the kindergartner, like, oh, I'm about to start in the world. Watch me, world. I'm gonna go get
yeah.
it. And so, right, I thought that was it, but I was always like, why am I always just like, oh, what's the point? There's that. But then they said, oh, you have so much Pisces, and the Pisces is what is that end of life. It's like the last sign of the
Yeah.
zodiac. It represents end of life. It's like that's why you have these two. I have so much duality in my chart. We're gonna talk about it during the fellowship, I think, because we got to explore my duality. But that's why you have that duality inside of you that you feel. That was also really helpful because it's like that self-awareness.
Yeah. It's
So,
like
but
learning
my understanding is we're going to do two star charts. We're going to do like two or three students are going to go through their star chart every class, something
I
like
don't,
that.
yeah, I think we're still ironing out the details of how, but yeah, I wanted to say it's like what, like two or three people will dive in. And because I mean, you could really go deep on those charts. And so it's also about finding not getting lost in the rabbit holes, because there's a lot. It's really, that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just rabbit. But I find that it's so empowering because really what this is learning about your blueprint. Really, it's just learning the blueprint. And it also, for me, learning about astrology and as myself, relating it to even like my health and the things that I need. I find that it helps me have compassion for others too.
Can you talk about that? Like, what do you mean? How do you relate it? I know there's medical astrology, but how do you relate it to health?
I always come back to the elements, and this is also Ayurveda too, and why, like when you learn about Ayurveda and just the themes of the body, really is what it is. It's just I mean, I guess to water it down, which is like, you know, to the most simplest thing, these themes of, and then the elements, so so I think, Aries is fire and leadership and, this just like transformation too. And so when I start to think of things in elements and relate it to my body, it really helps me understand like, and become more aware when I'm feeling even that, like just feeling that physical heat within myself, or feeling that coolness, like, oh, I need some more fire, and just starting to think of these things, or like when I'm having, like super congested here and like drainage. Okay, so I do need a little bit more heat. And but then I really like heat. Like I like tropical, like humidity, but I also get hot really fast. It's kind of like the frog in the hot water. So I feel that that's also interesting. So I'm just really fascinated. It all comes back to the elements for me, with all.
Yeah, I mean, that I haven't like even thought about looking at those elements in the chart. That's like something haven't even explored. I have no one's even like mentioned that to me before in a way that made sense in terms of like, oh, your congestion, if you're congested, add more heat. You know what I mean?
Or
Like that was
yeah,
like I've ever even heard of that, but I guess
you
that's
know,
something for me to learn in the new class coming up.
yeah, it's interesting to think of health in that it's a completely different perspective of the body, of your environment, everything you're in a relationship to, and that because everything's connected. And so, and we're really just a microcosm of the macrocosm. Are to down to the smallest itty bitty, like microscopic cell is still doing the same thing at the macro level. And then, all of those elements are present in all of it. It's all there. So um we are just so deeply connected, and those elements are within us. And I think the astrology, I mean, even if you look at the like the tarot too, I'm not a tarot reader or anything. I've just been like recently getting more into curious about tarot. And actually, my friend and I yesterday, she's got this new tarot deck which explains it has like the element, has like the number associated with it, the chakra. And so, people find different ways to connect and make associations with these, but I'm just curious. There's so much to learn.
There's so much to learn, and I think this class is a really great way to just kind of get your foot, into the water, dip your toes in the water, and we're also going to learn from other people's too. We're going to learn about, like, when you're having somebody else to get their reading, then you're going to learn about something about yourself too. So that'll be really interesting.
I,
The thing you told me about, we're a manifestation, or we're a reflection of like what's happening at the microscopic level and also the larger level. It's like very much like that famous, I don't know, it was Greek, Roman, something. Somebody, if you know, let us know. Hermes. And so
oh,
there's like hermetic medicine, and he said, as above, so
yeah,
below, or as below,
the
so
hermetic,
above. Like,
the seven hermetic principles. Yeah. So Charlie knows a lot about. He goes deep into that stuff too. So that's definitely going to come up
oh, we
for
have
sure.
to talk about that, because that's all I know, the whole as above, so below thing. But I need to, I want to learn that stuff more. I want to learn it in depth.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm so excited he knows about that, because
yeah.
that's something.
And we can also talk about too. What we will talk about. I think Dr. Bahaswati is going to be able to let us know, like share why astrology and knowing all this is so important to your health. And she's going to be able to weave that thread for us really, really well, because she's the Ayurvedic doctor, PhD, and a medical doctor, and all the things. And this is also her culture. So that will be really cool to learn. I'm excited for what she has to share. But I and you like the hermetic principles. I actually learned that from Charlie. I remember we ended up talking for hours one day about it, because I was like, oh my gosh, you got to tell me more about these. They're just so fascinating.
So I can't wait. I mean, so we're not going to just be doing our astrology and birth charts. We're going to be using it as like a springboard to then talk about these things, and also like Ayurveda is related to it. I mean, it's astrology is very integral to Ayurveda. So we're going to be exploring these topics and different traditions using the astrology as like a springboard, but then we're going to be delving into other stuff. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to be doing this again with you. I'm really excited that Charlie's going to be there. Dr. Bhattacharya is going to be joining again. Indy, the man who, brought me to you guys, he's going to be there too, and hopefully some other guides. So I'm super excited. And again, you guys, it's Cult. If you want to sign up, it's only $108. Cultivatingself.org.
Yes, that's the website. I'm gonna try and put it in the chat here. I don't know if it will. I'm not sure. Do you know if these comments are saved when the
I
live
don't
goes?
think so.
Okay, well, never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I was trying to add it to the top, but I gotta remember how to do that in the
Yeah,
future.
but
Yeah.
I also have the link in my. Actually, I'll update that. I'll add the link into my bio. And if y'all have any questions, you can also reach out to us. You can send us an email at cultivatingselfnow@gmail.com if you have questions. If you're interested in sharing something, if this aligns and you're interested in joining and trading somehow, we're open. We want people to participate, but that's why we've kept the costs so accessible, because we want it to be to be something that people can join and not feel like, oh my gosh. I mean, these courses are so expensive. Like I I like, we're talking like these are thousands of dollars that people pay to do
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
and here we are, it's like $100.
It's
Spend that much
such
on
a great
coffee
deal.
like in a couple weeks. Most people I know.
How many meetings are we planning at this point? We're still working on the curriculum, guys, so we're still fleshing it out, but I think we're going to meet at least 8 times,
I
right?
thought it's either 6 or 8.
Okay.
Remember exactly, but yes, 6 or 8. The didactic, more kind of the lesson will be on a Wednesday evening Pacific time, and then usually that following Saturday morning, like late morning. The time I also don't remember. It's on the website. And we will then gather for kind of integration, really, really dynamic, collaborative learning about each other's charts, sharing, and guided. That's going to be more facilitated integration for a couple hours. So,
Awesome. So
and
if you're interested in learning more about astrology, learning about different traditions that are like non-Western but are still very old and very much practiced, it was really powerful for me when Dr. Bhattacharya told me, she had gone to India and started seeing people that Western medicine had told, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you, and you're gonna die. And they in India were going through these Ayurvedic clinics and they were getting healed. Like that just blows your mind, right? It was mind blowing, and the more I study it, it's so much more powerful. Like I realize its power. So
that's usually
it's
why a lot of people actually turn to that, because a couple reasons people turn to, so-called alternative medicine. I will say that it's actually, modern medicine is the alternative, but this is traditional medicine. And so people usually turn to it in those times where, like you said, they were told by their doctor that they don't have time, there's nothing else they can do, or you just have to keep taking these meds that give you all of these side effects and potentially kill you, especially when we're talking about chemotherapy.
yes, I've seen it
um,
happen. It's sad.
it's
It's like
and that's
heartbreaking.
that's what people are going through. So, like, again, coming back to what even we've talked about before, Azadeh, we are in this five alarm fire,
Yeah.
where it is, where, and it's just going to get worse. There's it's and so it's up to us to really show up, and that's why we're calling you into this fellowship, because it's your time to be leaders in your communities, to bring this knowledge back. And we know that you're leaders, but it's also easier when we do it together. So but yeah, so people either turn to it as a last resort because for themselves, or they're just done. Usually that's what brings it to them. Then they're curious, then they want to practice and learn themselves. So I saw a lot of that at this conference this weekend. A lot of people who were now practitioners came, well, non-Indian practitioners came to Ayurveda because were basically going to die, or they were basically, I mean, we're all dying every day, but you know what I
Yes,
mean?
philosophically for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
And biologically.
Technically, but and so it's cool, but also we don't have to accept that. That's the other thing too. There's this fallacy that as you age you become slow, or it's normal for you to have dementia or cognitive decline and forget things. That is not normal. So we
Yes.
also have to, like, unlearn these things about what we've been told is normal for the aging process, because ancient medicines have known all of this. And again, modern medicine we know is great in the acute emergency situation, but it's not meant to tell us, like to show us and guide us how to be healthy and live our lives.
There's now more research, right? That's the integrative medicine doctors of the 1970s onward were like, okay, we know Ayurveda works. We have to prove it. So in the scientific realm, which is just one way of knowing things,
Yeah,
the scientific modality is just
yeah,
one way of knowing and arriving at
right.
truth. But so we can gain acceptance. Or traditional Chinese medicine, same thing. You know, people used to scoff at acupuncture, and now they're like,
Yeah,
oh, it actually is
yeah,
helpful, and insurance companies cover it.
right.
But uh, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. But what was I saying?
It happens. Yeah,
The tea really relaxed me.
good. That's some good tea. I'll have some. But yeah,
But oh, so it's so now it's being proven,
the science.
right? But
The,
it was already, you know, it was already veins of it that were completely true that people have been doing for thousands of years.
yeah,
So I now see it being more accepted in scientific realms because we've actually done some of the research behind it. And so now it's becoming accepted as part of
yeah,
science. And lifestyle medicine, for example, was something that wasn't, you know, was poo-pooed before. I think the old school doctors who were like fresh air, sunshine, like they knew these
yes,
things were important.
yes,
Fresh air, sunshine, hydration, rest, relax yourself, you know, don't work too hard. Like
yeah.
they were recommending it too, but somehow in Western medicine we lost that. And so now we're kind of reclaiming it in this reclaiming healthcare fellowship.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it, but how beautiful of a segue that
I love
was.
it. Thank you very much. It was the tea.
It was the tea. Thank you, Minty. Uh, I love everything you said, and I'm so excited. I'm really inspired, and I think that you know, we have a lot to offer as well in the space. I mean, all of us do. All of us have a role to play in this, and now it's just about finding where we fit in,
Yeah.
and and the best way to do that is through self exploration, through in community, and also learning because in the this those spaces where we can begin to uncover, and rediscover what our, like you said, our purpose is, our dharma, why we're here, dharma, why we're
Can
here.
I ask you, like, what have you found? And it's an ongoing journey, but like, what have been the pieces for you to find out where you fit in?
I think that for me, I fit in many places. I don't see myself just doing one thing. And because also I know my nature, I get bored of things. Like I don't, yeah, shocker. Somehow I suspected that about you. But I get bored, and I need new adventures and to learn. I always need to be learning something. I'm a student for life, and so I see my role in, I see myself as a leader, and in this, I don't know exactly, I don't have the vision perfect, but because I think it's still crystallizing. And but definitely in the space of leadership, doing multiple things, doing hands-on healing while also doing like systems building, and building communities as well. Also working with land and connecting to the plants is, like, where I feel most comfortable. And so a lot of different things.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
What
I
about
love
you?
that.
What about you?
For me, it's also, you know, I'm still uncovering it, but for me, connection to self and others is so, so important.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to say hi, shout out to Samra Vazirian, a doctor. Hi, Dr.
Hi,
Samra. Join our
Samra.
fellowship, Summer. You're going to have an amazing time. It's $108 for at least six meetings, and we're going to talk about reclaiming healthcare and how we as healthcare practitioners can reclaim healthcare. So please, please come. Hi, dear. Oh, she said hi, dear. You can ask me any questions. You guys have any questions, by the way, put them in the chat. For me, it's like I realize, like, when I like my role as connector and as connecting to others and connecting to divine, that was like what helped me kind of really understand my role better. And then leadership as well. Like you said, we're both Aries. So like leadership is very big for us. And so how to step into that as like a wise, mature leader, as opposed to what I think when, especially the Aries energy of the youthful Aries is like more impulsive or not as much thinking about others. And so that as I've grown and matured, I've seen that within myself. And it's just, and to also,
Yeah,
um,
selfish. I mean, we can say it. I do my best to as well. So, but it's something that we just become aware of and then we can actually do something about.
yeah, and it actually like you turn it into your power. You're like, okay, I have a tendency to be
Yeah.
more selfish. Like, how is that helpful
Right.
to me, and how can I how can I use it?
Yeah.
These things are really the more I learn using astrology, using Ayurveda, Western medicine, my public health training. Um, the astrology, like all of these things, like, and I'm starting to study human design a little bit more now.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to be,
What
yeah,
are you?
that's another fellowship.
Okay, but you have to tell us what you are then.
I just started,
Have you
but
identified your?
I've been told I just started, but I'm a manifester,
Okay.
which apparently is very rare. So compared to other ones. Yeah, so leadership connection, I think, is what feeds me. And I used to be like, oh, it has to be one-on-one connection until I realized, oh no, I can connect to people through the podcast. Like you have a podcast, I have a podcast now. Within we can connect that way too, especially as leaders.
Yeah.
It's again finding out more about yourself too. Yeah, I hope people join us. They can get to know us more. We can get to know them, create a tribal community in a
Connections.
way, connection. Yeah,
Connections.
yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you all. Sign up and reach out. Connect with us.
Cultivatingself.org/fellowship.
I think it's
Do
I
you
think
want
it's
to?
slash reclaiming healthcare
Oh,
fellowship.
that's what it's called,
I
Reclaiming
think.
Healthcare
Yeah.
Fellowship.
I
Okay.
don't have to
Well, just go to
remember.
cultivatingself.org,
It's
and
like, yeah,
sign up
it's
for
on
the
the homepage
fellowship.
too. It's
Yeah.
on the homepage too.
Do you wanna have a short meditation or prayer and send us out?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Uh, I guess that means I have to kind of put my phone down
Right.
here.
So while you're getting yourself set up, I'm just going to say again, you guys go to cultivatingself.org and sign up. It's $108. Join us on this amazing fellowship experience. It's starting very, very soon. It's starting this month, I believe.
Yes, March 26th. So sign up and so I don't know wherever you are. If you're seated, you can or laying down, just to close your eyes, bring your hands together in front of you, and just having some gratitude for this moment, for this IG live with you all out there, with Azadeh, Azizam. Thank you for showing up with your beautiful energy, and grateful for the Cultivating Self team that we can come together and we can create spaces like this to build community that is truly reclaiming healthcare. And I'm just really honored to be a guide and also a student with all of you. And just also having a moment of gratitude for my body and for all of you and for all the miraculous things that my body and that our bodies do without us even asking it to. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. We're beginning to rub our hands together, creating some heat, some fire. And with your eyes closed, just gently placing your palms over your eyes and your face, warming up your face or cooling it off, depending on your hands, the temperature. And then slowly opening your eyes, coming back to the virtual space.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Nurse Diana. Such a pleasure. And thank you,
Love.
everybody out there.
Much love. See you later.
Bye. See you guys.